Hey there, and welcome. When we think about engineering, we often picture massive things, right? Satellites, skyscrapers, that kind of stuff. But really, it's all about solving problems. From the phone in your hand to the clean water in your glass, it all starts with someone looking at a challenge and thinking, there has to be a better way. It's about making life better, one clever solution at a time. So let's get into it.
So let me ask you something. When you're staring down a truly giant, complicated problem, where do you even start? It's totally overwhelming, right? It feels impossible, kind of like trying to move a mountain with a teaspoon.
Well, here's the secret. The answer usually isn't some magical bolt of lightning or a stroke of genius out of the blue. Nope, it's a process. And engineering gives us this amazing, repeatable toolkit that honestly anyone can use to chop a huge problem into smaller pieces and find a way forward.
Okay, so at the very heart of that toolkit, you'll find this simple but incredibly powerful cycle. It's called the build, test, refine loop. And I'm not kidding. This is basically the engine that drives almost every single engineering project you can think of.
And the process itself is beautifully simple. First, you build an early version of your idea. Then, you test it. You push it, you pull it, you try to break it. You just want to see what works and what doesn't. And finally, you take everything you just learned and you refine it. You make it better. Now here's the key. This isn't a straight line. It's a loop. You go round and round, getting a little bit closer to the perfect solution with every single cycle.
That first version you build, it's got a special name. It's called prototype. And this idea gets right to the heart of the engineering mindset. A prototype is not supposed to be pretty or perfect. Its only job is to be a quick and dirty experiment that helps you learn. In fact, you could say it's designed to fail, so you can figure out how to succeed. All right, so that's the theory. But what does this process actually look like out in the real world? Let's take a look, with a story that tackles one of humanity's biggest challenges, getting access to clean water.
I want you to just imagine this for a second. For an entire community of farmers, the only water they had for drinking, for cooking, for everything, came from a dirty, contaminated river. This wasn't just some small inconvenience. This was a massive barrier to living a healthy life.
And the results, well, they were devastating. People were always sick, especially the kids, from all these waterborne diseases. Every single day was just a grind, a struggle centered around this one task of getting water that was actually making them sick.
So, this is where a team of engineers comes into the picture. But they didn't just see themselves as builders, they called themselves solution seekers. And that's a huge difference. Their goal wasn't just to show up and install some new gadget, it was to really, truly solve the community's problem.
Now, this is maybe the most important part of the whole story. Their first step wasn't drawing blueprints or ordering parts. It was to ask. They didn't guess what the village needed. They went there, they lived there, and they just listened. They talked to the families to understand the problem from their point of view.
And what did they hear? Well, this quote pretty much sums it up. The community made it clear. They didn't need some fancy, high-tech machine from halfway around the world. They needed something simple, something that was tough and would last. And, most importantly, something they could fix themselves. They needed to be empowered, not dependent on outsiders. Armed with that crucial info, the team could finally get to the drawing board. They imagined and planned a solution that hit every single one of those needs, a simple, rugged hand pump well. The whole design was based on using materials they could find nearby and parts that could be repaired with basic tools.
Then, it was time to build. They installed the well, but they didn't just pack up and leave. This is where that refined part of the loop comes back. They trained the villagers on how to maintain it. And they stuck around to get feedback and make little tweaks and adjustments. They wanted to make sure this was a real, lasting solution.
So what happened? What was the result of all this? Well, the impact was so much bigger than just water. It was like dropping a stone in a pond. It created this incredible ripple effect that changed the entire village.
I mean, just look at the difference. It's night and day. Before, you had constant sickness. Kids missing school because they had to spend their days hauling dirty water. It was just a daily struggle to survive. But after, with clean water right there, health shot up almost overnight. Kids could finally go to school. The entire village just began to thrive.
And that's the real math of great engineering. That simple pump wasn't just a machine for making water. It was a machine for making health, a machine for making education, and maybe most of all, it was a machine for making hope. It gave them a path to a better future. And that brings us right back to you. Because here's the biggest takeaway from all of this. This power to solve problems, it's not locked away for some special group of people with fancy degrees. This mindset, this way of thinking like a solution seeker, is something you can use right now.
It all starts really simply. Just observe the world around you. Ask questions. Then imagine a better way to do things. Sketch out a plan. It doesn't have to be complicated. And then just try to create a little prototype of your idea and keep making it better. It's a toolkit for everyone.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Take a look around you, your school, your street, your town. What's the one problem, big or small, that's just sitting there waiting for a solution seeker like you to come along and solve it?